thanks. that was pretty good. That's when I started recording too.
Just like that.
Oh man.
Man. Are we just? I don't know, man. Should we just keep drinking bangs every other week or every week when we record?
We shouldn't, but it helps. I don't know what our livers and heart are gonna say.
It's mainly our hearts. Yeah. I think liver affects. It's usually affected with alcohol. I don't think it doesn't. I don't know. Wait, I might be wrong.
Someone
maybe don't take this.
Someone in the medical field's like,
no, hang on,
Brian. You should stop drinking that now if you don't think it affects your liver.
I'm sorry, okay, but oh wait, is this blue?
Is it blue inside?
It looks blue.
Or is the can blue? People are listening and be like, this is a weird podcast.
They should know. We always start recording with like a little bit of a thing before we actually start our actual intro. If you're new to this, this is how we start. We
sip a bang.
No, that happened like maybe 4 issues ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The bang era. The bang era
just started.
Just started 4 issues ago.
4 issues ago. I like how we're saying issues now. Like,
well, we have to get it going.
Yeah.
I noticed it today because I was writing out the document for this week's episode today, and I noticed that I kept typing subconsciously episodes into every single one. And then you typed in issue 10. Yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe I should start doing issue. So I think now that I started typing issue, it's subconsciously
now it's like
in my head ingrained, which is good because that's how we wanted to get it going.
No, yeah, we need to start labeling these and saying these as issue. We do label them as issues, but we haven't
said it ourselves.
And if you guys you probably can't hear it, but you guys have to know too. Right now, the AC went out here, so
our Hall of Justice broke.
Our Hall of Justice or Fortress of Solitude. The global warming just hit at the Fortress of Solitude right now.
So, because we don't have a Batman in our squad, so we can't afford the high tech technology, and our AC broke.
But we have someone looking into it later this week.
Yes. So
if you hear a little fan in the background, it's because it's hitting us and keeping us from dying.
Basically,
I told Brian to bring water.
Yeah.
Because I know that in extreme heats or just when it's super stuffy, we shouldn't be drinking an energy drink.
Screw that, man. Caffeine, and then we just supplement with water.
We just supplement with. That's what we're doing, basically.
It's like what was his name? Sugar Rush in My Hero.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Sugar Rush?
Wait, in My Hero Academia?
Yeah, the guy that eats sugar.
Oh,
and then it has like super strength.
I think that's his power, Sugar Rush. No, that's his power called Sugar Rush.
What's his name?
I forgot his hero name.
But that's us at this point.
Yeah.
Our powers are only activated with a high amount of caffeine and creatine. and we just have to supplement with water or else we just collapse in exhaustion.
God, you just dehydrate altogether.
I'll do as much as I can post-edit to try to edit out the noise because I know it'll be a little bit of a in the background.
Yeah,
it's not bad. We tested it out beforehand.
Yeah,
we just be really close to the mics, like this close.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you guys hear like
ASMR issue 11. Okay, stop it. Stop it.
See, the bang already hit her.
How long in? 3 minutes in?
3 minutes in. All right, haven't done the intro, so here we go.
Rene, hit it. Let's go.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast of all things nerdy. I am your host, Rene, with
Bryan.
And welcome to the show, guys.
That confidence, dude.
I was like shocked myself. I'm telling you.
I took control. I took the reins. I took massive control.
Bangs up the podcast move better.
Imagine Bang actually listens to this and they're like,
hey.
Or people just start tweeting to Bang. It's like, hey, these guys are promoting your thing.
If we start having the Keep It Up with the Nerds powered by Bang, that would be awesome.
Everyone gets G Fuel. We get Bang.
We get Bang.
Heck yeah. And we get our own flavor too.
Yeah.
Imagine.
What kind of flavors would we do? Like, we had two flavors.
First, before we even start talking about potential
Berry.
we already have one. Before we get talking about sponsorships, we need to have our own name for our own base because we keep referring to this as the Watchtower.
The Watchtower. We need an actual name for it.
We need. We'll figure. I mean, we can if like someone's listening and can think of something. Sure.
Should we say the Nerd Sanctum?
It's too straightforward.
It's too straightforward.
I kind of. But then so is
you
like
like
things
it
like
though. I saw your face.
yeah, I was just like, oh,
Recording at the Nerd Sanctum at Undercity Comics.
the Nerd Sanctum.
The Nerdy Sanctum.
I like just the Nerd Sanctum.
Nerd Sanctum.
That'll be.
We'll work with that for now. If
now.
you guys come up with something better though, let us know.
I like the Hall of
could
Justice.
get a shout
though.
out.
Like the Hall of Justice, something similar to the Hall of Justice. Because,
okay, you want it like formal.
Yeah,
kinda.
because you want it like for me when I think of the Hall of Justice, I think of that Justice League episode when they go there. I think who was it? Was it Young Justice?
It was Young
Justice?
Justice.
It was Young Justice.
I know which episode you're thinking when.
And
like,
they look
Shazam
up and
stuff,
it's like everything is up there, and they're like looking at the statues, and they're like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" Like that's what I'm imagining.
Okay.
So, yeah.
The listeners have an idea. Let us know or let me know.
Hall of Nerds.
Hall of Nerds. Damn it. Yeah. I like that.
Damn.
The Hall of Nerds or the Hall of the Hall of Nerds.
Nerdum Hall? No. Hall of Nerdum.
You're there. It's like
almost. It's almost. Okay, so we'll sleep on this.
We'll work on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
And then it'll be good. It'll be good.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Next
we've got a
episode,
couple
we'll have
things.
it.
We got a couple things working out for us too, because I know that we're trying to work on some advertisement stuff.
Yes.
To like post around the area as well. So there is a channel artist. I won't reveal their name yet, but you know they're helping us with a couple things.
I saw, yeah.
So hopefully it'll get done soon and we can post it up on our socials and stuff. It'll be pretty much a combination of like Whittier representation with our own kind of twist and nerdy aspects there. So
if you guys are wondering why Whittier, it's because this is where we record. We want to help the city out. This is where Brian lives here. I work here. We're here basically 24/7 throughout the day, and why not give back? Try to help the community out, or also, be involved with the community as well too during this time as well.
Exactly. Little side note before we actually get to our topics. It's always like, I think the way I presented this conversation to you was like every band usually has like a home base.
Yeah.
And so it'd be interesting for even like certain podcasts have like home bases as well.
Yeah, Kevin Smith has one. Yeah,
exactly. So it's always it'd be nice to have like our home base here, and why not? Whittier has a good history.
Yeah,
Back to the Future was filmed here, one of the original nerdy classics.
Yep. So was Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus was filmed here.
Disturbia House is up a little bit that way. So
He-Man, Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren. The scene where he's like on a flying thing is down. It's Greenleaf.
What?
Yeah,
that's something I didn't even know.
Watch it again, dude, or watch the movie, or watch that clip. I'll send you that clip.
Okay.
Of him like he's like flying on some sort of thing. You guys know it. Let me know, or comment down below. And he's just like flying down Greenleaf. I think it's like past the movie theater and stuff like that. Because you see one of those old lanterns that you like.
Yeah.
Up here. Yeah, he's passing by like 5 of them.
Oh. Show me the clip.
I'll show you the clip.
Show me the clip. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But we're working on some stuff like that. Yeah. So we're getting through it. And then, we'll talk more about it at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
What we're pretty much working on. It's advertisements. More videos have come out. Stuff like that. So.
Yes. So.
And we've had about 5 more subscribers in the last week and a half.
Yes. And I think most of that has to do with our videos, too.
Yes.
Yes. Because I guess people like to see the video of us. I don't know why. We're not great looking. Or at least I'm not. But we've been getting a lot of response on it as well, too. And which is good to hear. Good to see. Good to hear. We've been getting a lot of more listeners. I think the video that's been hitting mostly is the Hamilton one, but the Fallout one is gaining a lot of traction. We just posted that one. If you guys haven't seen it, it's down below or next to this new episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more videos are coming. I'm also since I've also had ideas of what to do for the vlog, but that's mostly not vlog, but like for the channel. I've been mostly wanting to do vlogs, but I can't really do them during this whole thing,
We've discussed it off air, but I kind of want to go to like once the conventions are happening.
Exactly.
We could go.
Yeah, me and you would just record.
We can name it. Hang on, it's keeping up. So KU.
Keeping up with the vlogs.
With the nerds. So KUT. Keeping up with the
nerds. KUTN.
KUTWN.
KUT. Oh yeah.
With the KUW. TN something whatever network.
We don't even know our own.
The initials.
The initials for our channel. That shows you guys. All right, so let's get into this episode. This episode's gonna be basically DC talk all around. If you guys haven't noticed or haven't heard, there have been some quite big dramatic news happening with DC Comics.
One being that AT&T just bought them out, and what they just did was all the layoffs. We're also going to be discussing with next week coming up is DC FanDome. Again, we're going to talk about some leak stuff, and then we're also going to mention our predictions or what we want to see or what we hope to see. So let's get into the big news right now is the DC layoffs.
The DC layoffs. This was announced Monday of this last week.
Yeah.
So this is pretty recent news, and it kind of came to us as a shock because I don't think we've heard about it until Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's when most outlets started to report. But a lot of this, it's all bad news. Like it's all bad news.
Yeah, because the way that's
the easiest way to explain
happened, it just happened so drastically too. That's another thing, is that AT&T. I'm looking up how much they bought them, but when AT&T bought out DC, they just basically was like, let's trim the fat. Let's.
But they bought it like 2 years ago.
Really? I thought it was just like a final, like a finalization right now. They did it.
No way.
I don't know, but for some reason, AT&T was like, let's just get rid of what they got rid of. Basically,
while you look this up, I'll give out the details. So basically, DC Comics pretty much announced that 20% of its workforce was essentially gutted from the entire industry.
Yeah.
People like Jim Lee, who was the editor-in-chief, you said he was demoted, but it doesn't look like it. He doesn't report it.
No, he does. Well, obviously he's not going to report it, but
he just said that he still keeps his title as publisher.
Yeah, but he's no longer editor-in-chief. That's the thing.
They're hiring a general. It seems weird because the way that certain articles are writing it off, it's like he was demoted from editor-in-chief to just publisher. He still kept that title, but then they're hiring a general manager to oversee everything. Yeah. So there's just no longer an editor-in-chief?
I guess so. I guess maybe they like completely fizzled out just the title altogether, and just basically it's like a group thing.
It's okay. So it seems weird. I mean, when we talk about this is very sensitive stuff because we're talking about a bunch of people losing their jobs and stuff like that. Senior editors were also let go as well. So some people with high pedigrees in this company essentially just got let go. They said, we're sorry, we just can't keep you, and we're just going to have to let you go.
Yeah.
Now, when we look at this essentially could mean really bad news for DC Comics because usually when they start laying off people, it essentially means that they're trying to diverge, certain resources into other, departments, right? But this is the way I see it. If you're going to cut off a workforce, especially as big of a number as 20%, usually it has to do stuff with like HR or kind of like desk jobs that, not to say they don't matter, but kind of like minuscule desk jobs that are kind of
you could
extra.
Always hire people for HR.
I really hate talking it like that way because it makes you sound super insensitive when we discuss it.
The thing is like you got to think of it as like a business standpoint.
Yeah, that's the
thing. And that's what basically this all runs down to, is just business. And that's what AT&T is legitly doing by cutting off 2%? 20%. 20% of their layoffs.
And the 20% number is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. That's what they're saying on that one. But that's pretty much what it is, because I think Blizzard had recent layoffs too about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But they only reported HR. They reported pretty much, like I said, just kind of jobs that aren't, how can I say it? Not creative jobs or jobs that are held again, like, how can I put it? I'm trying to find the right word to describe it. The jobs that were laid off were not jobs that could affect production, like creative production.
Yeah, basically,
I guess you could say.
So if you guys are wondering like how this will affect DC in general, Jim Lee has said that DC Comics publishing is still a thing. That's not going to be affected at all. Comic books will still be coming out no matter what. That's not going to stop at any time. He said he feels very confident about it and stuff, which is good to hear.
But this is coming from the dude that is basically a figurehead of DC.
Yeah,
like anything that comes out is always going to be positive. Oh, we just gutted 20% of DC. Cool. Yeah, no, we're still great. We're still fine. Yeah, no, there's no problems here. You have to say that because you technically still work for DC.
Yeah, he still has a job.
Yeah. You really think that Jim Lee's going to come out and be like 20%? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's just not going to look well.
No, stressed out.
Yeah, it's sweat rolling down his brow.
Yeah, guys, we're good.
Yeah, it's a weird piece of news to come out 2 weeks before the DC FanDome.
That's another thing too. Is that this is happening right before the DC FanDome, like legitly the weekend before. If you look into what's being affected by it, it's mostly the DC Entertainment crew. It's mostly the DC universe. They're getting rid of that app altogether.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go into detail now?
Yeah.
Into
So
pretty much what it's going to be?
basically.
Okay. So we've discussed that pretty much Jim Lee looked like he got demoted.
Looked like he got demoted. At least he's no longer has the title of editor-in-chief. He is what you said is a publisher.
New general manager coming in September.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned this. You pretty much confirmed it. You said that DCU is gone.
DCU, and I'm sorry for people that have that because I have a lot of people that came in during
Friend
the
of
week.
the show, Rebel. I shouldn't laugh, but I'm just like...
We're sorry, Rebel. We don't mean to laugh. It's just the general aspect of it. It sucks. That's the thing.
It does. Like, it's... Okay,
so this was... But you know what's funny? This was around the time, a week ago before this announcement. I was legitly gonna get the DC Universe
Same.
app.
So
I was
Rebel was mentioning it. He's like, you should get it.
He kept telling me, he's like, yeah, same here. He's like, you should get it. I'm like, I'm going to. It's just that I'm paying for other stuff.
Yeah, it's a $7
it's
something
just
like that.
$7 a month, or you could do the yearly thing, which a lot of people do just to do it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The bangs make me burp. So basically you could do the year thing. I know a customer that does have a yearly thing, and this announcement really pissed him off too. And he was like, I don't know, because AT&T should give me a refund. I'm like, they should if they're gonna. I'm like, cause
no, yes, but no, yes, but no,
or some sort of credit to HBO Max, or so like give them like oh, here's a code for the 2-month subscription to HBO Max.
Keep this in mind. The transition from HBO Go to HBO Max was not clean.
No, it wasn't.
It was kind of bad.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have HBO Go. I jumped straight into HBO Max.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew people that had HBO Go.
Oh, wow.
And then when I was looking into it, because I'm just like, okay, so what happens to the HBO Go account that my friends have?
Because that's actually more expensive.
Yes. I'm not sure if other friend of the show,
or is it
Bishop.
HBO Now? That's
HBO. That's right.
HBO,
there were 3 of them.
There was 3 of. Okay. If you include HBO Max, before that it was just HBO Go, where you could stream all of the HBO shows if you had a cable provider for it.
Yes.
Now HBO Now was technically for the people that didn't have that, but it was super expensive. It was like $100 a year or something like that. So now they have a full-on streaming service, which is HBO Max.
Yes.
That's their full-on streaming service, which is what, $12.99?
I pay $12.
Yeah.
Originally, it's $14.99.
Oh, it's $14.99.
Yeah, if you got the promo, like when it first came out, because I bought it a month before it released, so I got it for $11.99 for the first every month for a year, and then every year after, and then afterwards it'll be $15, which is still I will argue.
Bad.
No, for HBO,
for HBO,
$15 a month.
That's the thing. Originally I wasn't for HBO Max because
Traitor.
because I have Hulu and Amazon, which HBO is both provided on those as premium channels that you can just add on to your account.
Yeah, but it's the same price.
It's the same price, but you're getting everything else at the same time. So I'm like, why not just stick to that? But I know that you could just make more money by having your own streaming service, which is basically the new norm now.
Yes, but no.
What?
I agree. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. See what you mean. It's because I had Amazon, because I have Prime as well.
You never used Amazon, you said, huh?
I just don't.
You have it, but you don't use
because
it.
I use it for the packages. Okay, I don't use it for their streaming.
To get things.
I get just to buy my addictions for freaking packages being delivered to me. That's
all your video game stuff.
Yeah. I had that, or I have it, but then I packaged the Boomerang channel on there.
Oh.
I didn't like it because I still couldn't have easy access to anything that I wanted to watch.
That's true, because when I got my girlfriend wants to watch like all the MTV stuff, because she wants to watch like RuPaul Drag Race and stuff like that, and she doesn't have any cable or anything. She saw that she saw RuPaul's Drag Race was on the MTV channel premium thing, so I got it for her. And then more looking into it, she's like, "Oh, they only have the newer stuff. They don't have any of the older stuff." I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess that's the catch then."
Yeah, it's not. I don't know how exactly it works.
Yeah.
Because I only spent maybe a good week with it before I said no. The Boomerang app itself was pretty good. It just sucked that I couldn't watch it on TV or on a computer. It had to be through your phone.
Now, did you get Boomerang because of Scooby-Doo?
yes, but also because of the OG Looney Tunes. Because I'm kind of mad that Looney Tunes doesn't advertise Speedy Gonzalez anymore, and I grew up watching Speedy and Roadrunner.
Is that true? They don't advertise it anymore?
They don't. He's not on there as often. Like, he makes like cameos here and there, but I think it's like more of a racist thing.
Boomerang.
I can see why.
Diversity.
No,
this is
well,
2020.
Think about it. Like, if you watch Speedy, he is a little bit of a stereotypical kind of person.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's because you and I grew up in an era where like we used to watch this, and we're not going to be going out there and going like, oh yeah, every Mexican looks like Speedy Gonzalez and stuff like that, or acts like it. Mm-hmm. But I can see why, because most people would probably think, offensive thoughts of this character. Whatever, that's a separate issue. But that's why I got Boomerang pretty much for it. And I just didn't like it with the integration of Amazon. But going back onto the topic of pretty much the DCU. No, I was going to mention other friend of the show, Bishop. He had HBO Now.
HBO Now, which is a more expensive.
No, HBO. Was it HBO Now or HBO Go?
Because HBO
he
Go
had one of the two.
Yeah, because HBO Go is free when you have a cable subscription to HBO already.
Yes, and it doesn't qualify you to get HBO Now, which was completely different.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, I think his transition was pretty easy because he had Now to Max, which was good.
So he just had to cancel Now.
No, it just switched over. Like
it did?
Yeah, it was
so they
sign
got rid of
into your
HBO Now then.
So HBO Now is a separate app. They launched a new one, HBO Max, which was a newer app. Mm-hmm. And according to what I read, it was just an easy sign in and done. Okay. That was it. But from HBO Go to HBO Max, from what I understood, they didn't qualify.
But yeah, because you're technically
paying for your cable provider.
Paying towards your cable's provider.
So then just drop HBO on cable and just do that, which is kind of weird, but I mean,
it makes more sense in the long run.
Yeah, but I still think that the service is really good. And then going back to this whole DCU thing, for it to fold again. The 20% layoff, we have to keep saying, this is not good. So people lost their jobs here.
Well, the thing is that when I saw that HBO Max was going to start, because this was before everything, HBO was already starting to show that they were going to start doing DC shows like Watchmen. They did Watchmen.
Watchmen was on there.
But
do you really count that as something that would go into the DCU?
It's a DC property now.
But it is. But think about DCU as a comic book enthusiast network. So, yes, Watchmen is a massively popular comic book that, I would say every comic book nerd probably has heard of at some point.
Yeah.
But the series wasn't something that was necessarily like, how can I put it? The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Consider that.
Oh,
the Umbrella Academy is something that a lot of people got into, and then people that got into it then started to realize, oh, it's a comic book. Same with the Watchmen series.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Watchmen series for the HBO, the new one, the limited series, was advertised as like, yes, this is like something that was from the comic book. It was referencing it,
yes,
but I feel like it was more, it had a broader audience.
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it would probably fit better under the HBO name.
Okay.
If you want to use like a proper example, I would probably say that there's DC, a DC network or a DC channel, quote unquote channel, under HBO Max that has all these different movies from the DCU.
Yeah.
Aquaman, Shazam, Justice League, Batman versus Superman. The Harley Quinn show was on there too.
That's true. Yeah. I know that HBO did say they were going to do a Green Lantern Corps movie or show. But that was announced. They haven't said anything after that.
Yeah.
And when I heard that HBO was doing it, I'm like, why is it not being in the DC Universe app? That's another thing too.
Because they're trying to integrate it. Did you notice that Doom Patrol?
Yes, when you
was slightly on there.
Yeah,
and then I think it was
for
removed
like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they moved it back, and now I think it's going to move back.
Yeah, and then they just announced that obviously Titans will be moving to HBO Max because they're still doing another season of Titans.
Yeah. But
from moving forward now, it's going to go to the HBO Max. Same thing with Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing will be on HBO Max as well too. Obviously, the Harley Quinn show will be
and
on
the Harley Quinn show has surprisingly been doing really well.
That's what I've been hearing. It's like possibly the better DC show out of everything.
I kind of want to watch it because I've been seeing snippets of it, and I'm like, oh, this is really raunchy, but it's like,
I really
all right.
like that Kaylee Kuko is doing the voice of Harley Quinn.
Kaylee Kuko is
Penny from The Big Bang Theory.
There it is. I knew that name sounded familiar.
Yeah. So when I heard that she was going to be doing it, I was like, oh, cool. All right. And she does a good Harley Quinn voice. I do think that it's funny. I saw a clip where she's what is it? It's Damian Wayne Robin that's has declared her his like worst enemy and stuff, and she's like, why do I have Robin as my worst? And she's trying to she's like really disappointed that Robin is her arch nemesis.
Damian Wayne,
yeah,
Robin,
yeah,
not what's his name, Nightwing.
No, this is yeah.
Nightwing and Harley Quinn had a romance, right?
No, they had like a little thing. It was
initiated by Harley Quinn.
Yeah, because if you saw, that was in Batman and Harley Quinn. That was funny too.
Wasn't that like a very weird scene?
I thought
he didn't want
to, but
then
he gave in. He's like, the things I do for my city. He's
oh my god, that scene! I remember watching it. That's a separate thing. But
hold on, I want to get a little tangent right here because I hate when people are like, "That's not how it is in the comics." Of course, it's not. It's not a relationship. People said the same thing about Killing Joke, the animated movie.
Yeah.
Where Batman and Batgirl had a little thing. And it's like...
Batman sees Batgirl as like a daughter.
Okay, first of all...
That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's not how it is. That's the thing.
No, of course not.
Yeah, if you watch Batman Beyond, they had a romance. In Batman Beyond, they declared, Barbara Gordon said that... Yeah, huh?
She was mad in that show.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I remember.
Yeah. So the thing is, too, is that, if you break it down, this girl is being trained by Batman and stuff. It's kind of like the same thing when people kind of fall in love with their teacher or mentor or have feelings for them, because it's just like that authority figure that always looks out for you and looks for your best interests, and it's, when they're young, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us. So that's why I didn't think it was too far-fetched when that happened. I saw it in theaters too.
You got to consider this though. A lot of DC fandom is really weird because I can kind of split it up into no offense to people.
That's the thing. You mess with any fandom with any sort of thing, and they'll just grab you or just
saying that the DC fandom is weird is probably going to get me killed.
I'm
but
part
here,
of
let
that
me
fandom,
defend. Let
and
me
I agree with you.
Let me defend myself. I feel like the DC fandom can be split up into three distinct groups.
Yeah.
You have your fandom that watches the movies and just kind of wears a Batman shirt because it's their favorite superhero, but never read the comic book.
I feel a little offended right now.
No, hang on.
Okay. As I'm wearing a Batman shirt.
And you're going to I'm going to freaking kill this guy after the podcast. People that barely watch the animated series,
That's
but watch
true,
the Batman, have a Batman shirt. It's she's my favorite superhero. And then get mad at the little things like that, right?
Yeah.
Then you have your average Joe kind of consumer that watches here and there, but didn't really diverge deep into the history and lore of certain superheroes.
And they only like Batman because of the Nolan movies, maybe?
Yes, but also the animated. Then you have your animated people that they watch the entire run of the animated series. They watch the OG Justice League and Batman Beyond, and then they see the scene where Barbara Gordon and Bruce Wayne or Batman, because does she know that he's Bruce Wayne? Yes, he does.
During that time, no. In the Killing Joke movie,
yes,
ish, she didn't know it was Bruce Wayne.
So they had sex, but they didn't.
They kept the masks on.
Whatever floats their boat,
man.
man.
We did the same thing with Catwoman, too. Catwoman, actually, in the comic books, they were doing it on a rooftop, too. And Catwoman's like, no, keep the masks on. And I was like, damn.
But that's because she likes
she likes the whole thing.
Her kink was the identity thing.
The identity thing.
So that makes sense. But they get mad. Oh, they never supposed to have a romantic relationship. Oh my god. If you looked at the comic books, there was a little bit of a romance from Barbara Gordon's side, but not Bruce Wayne. And I think the Killing Joke animated movie kind of made it more palatable. Yeah. Because Bruce Wayne admitted that they couldn't have more because he was too afraid for her to get hurt.
He can't basically means that if he starts developing feelings for her, he's always going to put her first instead of the city.
Yes.
And that's what he didn't want.
No. Yeah, exactly.
I was afraid of. He was afraid of that.
So that made it more palatable and made it more sense. But then you have that. Then you have your hardcore DC fans that are Batman shirt, but they've watched every run of Batman. They've known every comic book arc that's in there. They have other favorite superheroes.
I'm in between 2 and 3. Because I've watched, I'm a huge DC fan.
Yeah,
but I let things go.
I kind of want to say that if you belong in group 3, if you know about the Kingdom Come arc.
Yeah,
because most people don't.
No, yeah,
they don't know, and I feel like if you know enough, then you could kind of get yourself into the entry of group 3.
Yeah,
but if you don't, you're either 2 or 1.
2 or 1. Sorry. Someone's like, fuck.
What? Or they're gonna come after me for
No.
putting them into groups.
No,
Friend of
they-
the show Rebel's probably gonna message me here and be like,
He's
"What?
like, what do you
You're
mean?"
wrong. You're wrong about this."
We should have him on the show soon.
Oh, we should.
We're gonna have you on the show, Rebel. Don't
At
worry.
some point, we
At
just
some
got to
point.
figure this out. We're
You gotta be patient. Anyone that wants to be on the show, you gotta be patient. We're still trying to figure out how to do guests.
I
and
mean,
stuff
we still
like
make
that.
tangents. Look at this. We were talking about HBO Max. And we went into freaking Batman
Okay,
romance.
sorry. Okay,
So-
getting back to business.
So
like
we-
AT&T.
Like, ooh. Okay, I'll put it this way. Again, repeating this, 20% of the workforce being let go is a bad thing. But I feel like saying "but" is so insensitive.
However,
DCU being integrated into HBO Max because of these layoffs is good for the consumer.
yeah,
Reason being is because a lot of the stuff that was going on in the DCU wasn't made accessible to the everyday consumer.
that's true.
I didn't want to spend an extra $8 to then pay extra, or to then get extra content that I was only going to watch every so often.
That's true. Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
plus that's the thing. It's like it's not like these episodes get pumped out every week. It's only a few weeks, and then we gotta wait a whole nother year. It's like
Yeah.
as a normal TV show, you gotta wait a whole nother year because they gotta film it. They gotta make it look pretty.
Yeah.
And stuff. So you're still waiting, but you're paying $7.99 a month and stuff. But you're still paying it, and even though you're all caught up and everything, there's no new content.
Yeah, exactly.
At least I get what you mean. I think I get what you mean. Where
The integration
basically-
from here to here will make it more easier because now think of it this way. People that have HBO Max probably are people that are going to watch HBO series. Like they really probably don't have any interest in like the DCU
Yeah,
stuff
they probably
until
watch like Pretty Liars or something. What's it called?
some Pretty Little Liars. I don't
Is it
even know if
Pretty
that's on
Little
there.
Liars? Or no, was it? No, it's the one with like Nicole Kidman and stuff.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong
I'm
person
just,
here.
Or was it Confusion or that
What's
one
what's
with
the
Paul
other-
Giamatti and stuff?
There's another HBO series with Zendaya on there.
Oh, that's Euphoria.
Euphoria. There you
people
go.
that watch Euphoria. Oh God, you could tell the type of people that watch that, like Euphoria, and stuff. Girls.
Are you sure? Because I was actually trying to. There were a couple people that were trying to get me to watch it because they're like, "It's so
What,
good,
Euphoria?
and I'm just like, "No,
No one's ever mentioned. I guess because maybe not in my circle. Then like
no." In my
you-
circle, there have been a couple people. I'm just like,
Watch
no,
Euphoria. I've seen
Yeah.
clips of Euphoria, and it looks
nothing wrong with that.
interesting.
I feel like if people like it, whatever. But this is the
okay,
point I'm trying to
go
get to. People that watch shows like that now all of a sudden have access to seeing these DC shows,
Mm-hmm.
right? So consider this: you have a friend that just watches like in the show, like in that realm,
Mm-hmm.
that show Euphoria, right? Like in that realm right there. You're watching with friends. All of a sudden, one of your buddies over here. Whoa! I didn't know that they had Young Justice on HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
Now all of a sudden there's an interest. Now you
Mm-hmm.
have more people signing up on there. There's a big enough nerddom, and keep in mind the nerddom circle is massive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why these summer blockbusters make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
It's because the nerddom circle has now integrated themselves into the casual market.
Oh, yeah.
And they've recommended these things to be watched by people. This wouldn't have happened almost 15 years ago.
No. Oh, definitely.
This is
not.
happening now.
Mhm.
So for DCU to then get integrated into HBO Max,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a boost of subscribers, I think.
Oh, definitely. And then if it's not the casual group, then you're gonna get the nerdy people or the DC fans that usually get DC Universe, but now switch it to HBO Max, and
All of a
then
sudden-
they're getting more stuff on top of that.
How much more are they paying?
Double-
Twice the amount.
Twice the amount. But if you think about it, you're getting your money's worth because not only you're getting DC shows, but you're also getting HBO shows on top of that as well too. And
Exactly.
you get to watch Friends.
Exactly. There you go.
That's a whole other thing.
Oh,
its
see,
own,
now
I
that's
think.
going to cause a war right there.
Yeah.
You like Friends?
Okay.
Friends is so bad.
No, Friends is funny.
Friends
It's
is
so hilarious.
Oh, you like Friends? You're probably one of those people. Seinfeld is so much better.
a person with good sense of humor? Yes.
All right. So the other thing is that Warner Brothers Media has always they've always had it, but they want to try to go to a more direct to consumer perspective. This essentially means that they don't want to go through any other media to try to get you to watch or read their content. They want it directly to you.
Yeah.
What could this mean? This essentially means that comic book stores aren't something that they are now looking into.
Yeah.
If Warner Brothers Media wants you to read their comic books, you can just go on directly into their website or some sort of premium app that they might have
Yeah.
and read their comic books digitally. But and this is according to the articles that I read, this is according to Sci-Fi, one of the articles that they wrote, they essentially said that it doesn't necessarily mean that the paperback comic book is ending anytime soon.
Okay.
But I feel like they are probably going to push for a more direct-to-consumer perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You are probably going to see more comic books coming out digitally than, trades or paperback covers. It could be a possibility. Mm-hmm. This is a quote from the Sci-Fi article as well. If you're running Warner Brothers, why not write off all the expenses related to these job cuts and get a DC universe during this year of an unprecedented challenge and start fresh in 2021? Essentially saying that they have also kind of wanted to gut out a lot of the DC stuff and kind of start the new quarter, because I think quarter 1 starts soon actually for them in the financial calendar.
Yeah.
They probably just want to start gutting people off and starting fresh and saying, well, this is like, we now have more money to make up and create new projects, head into a more modernized direction.
I guess for a business aspect, that makes sense.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's just really bad that you have to cut so many people's jobs during this time as well, too.
You keep saying it's a business, though, and you're not wrong. Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, is that, it feels so wrong. Like, okay, let me put it this way. When at least in my end,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not defending the business for this, but they also have the right to essentially say, well, you know what, like, we're not needing this department, we're just going to cut you out and pretty much focus on some other stuff.
I guess as well too, it's like, it's weird because if you look at it both ways, especially during the whole COVID outbreak and stuff like that, a lot of businesses and companies are losing money because not a lot of activity is happening at the moment, where consumers are not really buying a whole lot of stuff or doing a whole lot of things, especially with the entertainment industry, like Hollywood, not making movies right now or shows. Everything has to be kind of like screened, everything has to be kind of like everyone has to get tested as well too, and that costs money as well too.
Exactly.
So to get rid of the DC universe, shows, not getting rid of them, but just moving them to a different platform that you already own, it makes sense. But at the same time, it just sucks that you're losing your job at a crisis like this.
Yeah,
that's another thing. So
especially when other avenues aren't opening up for a lot of these people. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
You're saving money, but then you're causing a lot of people to be out of the job as well too.
If we're going to talk, economics and jobs and stuff like that, the way I see it is, let's look at it from a positive perspective at some point, right? Like right now it looks all bad and stuff like that. But the way I see it is that if a company like DC is starting to gut out this many jobs to make room for more expensives to then modernize the industry, this only potentially means that these jobs could eventually open up again once they start creating more avenues of distribution. Yeah, essentially. So it's just the crisis right now, honestly. But do you really think that Warner Brothers really decided to cut out 20% of its workforce? Not Warner Brothers, DC decided to cut 20% of its workforce because of the COVID crisis? You really think that's what it is, or you think it's something else?
I think it might be something else. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know. We don't know yet. So we have to see, especially moving forward. I think we'll know more stuff in the coming weeks of what they're planning on to, especially after the whole DC FanDome thing. We'll see what's going on that front, with announcements being made, what's moving forward, and what's going to be, shown and stuff like that.
Now, let me put this into perspective as well. It was a point that I think both the Hollywood Reporter and Sci-Fi kind of made out there. But essentially, one of the things that they're alluding to is that cutting this many jobs essentially means that they no longer see the comic book industry as a viable source of income or revenue, and that they want to focus more on their production studios. Essentially, summer blockbuster movies, making movies for Aquaman and Shazam and all these other things. Isn't that kind of scary to think that maybe the comic book industry is kind of going to be just put on the back burner now? And
it's no longer. Well, I don't know how it was before that. What was more important, either the movies or the comic books?
Well, the movies are more important.
The movies would be more important, but maybe they were putting more effort into their comic books as well too. So now for them to announce that we're no longer, or for them to say or think that, okay, well, comic books are kind of, we're not going to focus too much on it. We're still going to let like writers and editors do their thing, but it's not going to be like a thing to do, and especially working here, sometimes 9 times out of 10, the comic books here are better than the movies at some point.
That's kind of always been the case.
Yeah.
You said 9 out of 10. Yeah. So it's more often the case.
It's more often the case that it's just the stories that DC prints out are way more better than what Warner Brothers has been putting out.
But most people aren't interested in those stories.
That's the thing. There's more people that would want to watch these characters on screen, which is fair, than just read them.
It's more easily consumable.
Yeah.
My initial thought is this. When I read about this, it kind of, and I feel like we're not going to get any more coverage regarding this. I think that what we're getting now is the most we're going to get about these layoffs compared to something like Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. Yeah. When they laid off when they laid off a big chunk of their workforce, they, within a span of a few days of announcing that, they essentially came out and announced that it was mostly HR people that were laid off. It wasn't anyone in the creative department, right? Yeah. This one, the only details that we got about the layoffs were that it was some senior executives and senior writers and stuff like that, like people that wrote these comic books that they've had for a really long time with high pedigree. They've let those people go. That's it. We're not getting any more detail about who else was laid off in the 20%. We don't know what's going to happen, if they might potentially come back at some point. We don't know if there were any departmental changes or moves. Like Jim Lee's, even that one was still kind of like shady. Like it didn't seem like it was big. So
we all know him as editor-in-chief, but now he's labeled himself as just
publisher. They asked him, and the Hollywood Reporter's interview was weird because it didn't. They simply said he's known as the editor-in-chief, and then one of the questions they asked was like, "Do you still keep the title as publisher?" Yes. So. Is he no longer editor-in-chief? And this is kind of the scary thing for me, is that when we look at it, yes, maybe they move things around to kind of make way for the production, to make more movies in the DC universe, to make more TV shows and stuff like that. But you are 100% right when you say that some of the comic book story arcs that come out are way more interesting than the stuff that comes out on TV and movies. Here's the other thing. Most of these movies and TV shows are just reruns or re-edits or reimaginings of stories that have already come out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So nothing new really comes out of it. I think Young Justice is probably one of the few.
It's one of the more ones that they still take on stuff like original stories, but then also take aspects from here now and then, but just run within an original story. Yeah. That's actually really good.
And we can't tell a company to say, hey, put more focus on this. It's wherever the money's at.
Yeah.
And if we're going to be 100% honest, maybe the comic book industry isn't making that much money right now, especially for DC with the COVID thing going on.
Yeah, moving to another publisher now. Now I'm hearing that the chairman of Diamond has now taken the reins as CEO now and let the CEO go. And now he's back. The guy that owns Diamond, the owner of Diamond, is now CEO of Diamond Distributors now. And he is trying his hardest to get DC Comics back,
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's another thing, too, is that... And the thing is that it probably will happen because Diamond has lost contracts with both DC and Marvel at some points in the decades over the years and stuff. And it's always come back. They always come back.
But they have to rewrite that contract to make it more...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Palatable for people that are still... Or for these companies that are still distributing paper comics,
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because... Consider, what happens in the next decade. If we're going to have more and more people transitioning into the movie, right? Okay, I'm no longer going to read my Wonder Woman comics. I am going to now just watch the movies for the casual market, right? That's where the money's going to be at. So that means that most of these companies are going to want to diverge as much resource as possible to make as much money as possible in these production industries. And they might leave behind comic books. Yeah. So what could Diamond do essentially to incentivize these companies to say, hey, you know what? The comic book industry isn't dead yet. Let's just keep distributing them out there and putting them out on the shelves and stuff like that.
I don't know.
Because we talked about it in issue 0.
We talked about that. One of the possibly main things was that DC didn't want to stop putting out books, because of this whole thing, even during this COVID outbreak as well, too. but obviously Diamond Distributors, where they're located at, had to shut down for a bit.
Didn't we say that they might go more digital now in issue 0?
In issue 0, it was they might go more digital. I know that they cut a lot of titles. DC, they cut like some certain titles here now.
They're going to be cutting out more with these layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
More and more. They're only going to focus on major titles.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. So that's another thing, because they came out with like Young Animals, and now most of those titles are gone.
Is that a good thing or bad thing though?
The Young Animal stuff was interesting at one point. It was a great idea, but it was to bring in like a younger demographic, and it didn't really work out. I just saw like the normal consumers trying them out, and it was basically mostly collectors that were collecting like first appearance of certain characters.
That's always going to be a thing. Yeah,
that's a thing. So that was the only time it made money, was that it was because, it's a first appearance of this character that's going to be in this one, or the death of this person.
As a consumer, I can only see that as a good thing, because it means less comic books for people to buy. Well, that sounds bad.
Right.
It means that there's less to get into.
Yeah.
So one of the examples, think of all the arcs that essentially come out.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel is very infamous for doing this. Big arc. All of a sudden, 4 other different issues come out under different names that you have to read.
That's what they're doing right now for Empire.
It's so stupid.
They're doing that right now, where it's oversaturated.
Yeah.
And a lot of my consumers here are dropping it.
Because it's so difficult.
It's too much, yeah.
It's like how many...
much.
Okay, you have to spend $5 for the main arc.
Yeah.
For the main major event.
Which is this arc right now, they're putting out every week. There's no break. It's just issue 1 of Empire, then next week, issue 2. It's already on issue 5.
They're good. Like, it's good money for them, because now you're spending how much? Okay, let's say beginning of the arc happens, right? Or the build-up, right? You have 4 different comic books that essentially start building up towards that arc, priced at what, $4 to $5 each. So if you buy all 4, that's $20 right there. Plus the big arc, usually issue 1 ends up being a little more expensive.
Yeah, it's like $6 or $5.99.
Yeah, so $6-7. You're adding on top of that. And those arcs, those side arcs, keep going on for a good 3 or 4 issues.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much to take in, and at some point you just drop it. Because you're like, I just don't care. But then once you drop one, all of a sudden the arc has a storyline that was very important.
Something happens, yes.
And you're like, oh, well, I missed that issue. And then you can never find it.
Oh, yeah.
If DC decides to drop some other side titles, I'm not going to argue against it. Because if they just put focus on things like Batman, Aquaman, The Flash... Green Lantern, like their major characters, Detective Comics still, if that still goes on there. It's less for me to worry about, and I can now focus on a consistent comic book pile that I could just read into.
Yeah.
So consumer, it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think Marvel just kind of got oversaturated.
That's true.
So that could only possibly mean some good stuff from a consumer perspective.
So to wrap up this subject, basically we hope that something good comes out of it, but at the same time it's a drastic decision that they chose, and we'll see how it works out. You and I both agree that it's a positive for HBO Max right now, that it's a good thing that we'll have an easier access to watch these shows now.
Yes,
which is good, because I've always wanted to watch Titans. I've always wanted to watch Doom Patrol. People keep telling me to watch it.
Yeah.
And I am going to get HBO Max, because I didn't have like a full enough reason, because I was going to basically wait until the Snyder Cut was going to come out and then get HBO Max.
That's going to be the big increase.
Yeah. So, but now I can get it now. Is Titans on there now? No? It's just, okay, so it's going to be a transition.
I think it'll be a transition title.
Okay. So when those shows come available, I will get those.
Yeah.
So, and then basically, yeah, it's just
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for the future of DC Comics. We'll see how it goes, obviously.
Didn't you say before we recorded that, did you find out when AT&T bought
No, it's
DC
not.
Comics?
They're not disclosing that. I
my God.
Yeah,
when was this? Was it 2 years ago? Or
it was like, I remember a year ago, I looked up, there was a year ago that AT&T was interested, or they were going to buy it. I guess they had to find out the contract and stuff like that.
This is some weird time. You know what? This is like the beginning portions of Space Mountain, we're going into a tiny little dark like tunnel. We don't know where it's ending up.
No.
And it's just you're just in there for the ride. Because I don't know if you heard before we go into this next part. Because what time are we at? We're at like 40 minutes.
Like 50 minutes.
We're at 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, this is a pretty long conversation.
We took a long conversation, which wasn't bad. It was a good conversation actually.
Yeah. The only reason why I mentioned this, like kind of like a weird tunnel of like we don't know where. Did you hear about how AT&T is trying to sell NetherRealm Studio as well?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're trying to sell their gaming portion. Supposedly they were, because NetherRealms is in charge of games like Injustice and Mortal Kombat.
But that's interesting because Warner Brothers also is a big part of that as well too.
Warner Brothers Media.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's under AT&T. So
that's interesting.
But they were supposed to, and now they backed out because I guess none of the buyers were really putting in as much money as they were asking for.
That's funny.
Which, I mean, yes and no. It's a separate issue. I think we need to weigh more on it because, especially with the whole console war coming out with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox.
I think that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Microsoft. Because I have a group of friends that we were discussing this.
I think companies don't know what's going to be bigger.
Yeah,
the PS5 or Microsoft.
Here was the thing, though. My friend was one of my friends, Frank, was discussing this, and he pretty much is a massive advocate for Microsoft to buy NetherRealms because NetherRealm Studios, Mortal Kombat is a huge game. It's a huge franchise. So for NetherRealms to be exclusive to Microsoft, now you have that exclusivity on PC and on the Xbox. That's huge. I don't know. We'll see if NetherRealms does get sold, maybe in a couple months. But this can only pretty much. I don't like that. I don't like AT&T starting to like split off certain portions because this kind of feels like Marvel.
That's why I'm like, it's like early Marvel stuff.
Where they were like, we're bankrupt now. We need to sell every asset.
Sell Spider-Man to Sony. Sell X-Men to
and here's
Fox.
Sony going like, here you go, here's Spider-Man.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay.
Moving on to the next topic,
Yes.
So on lighter news, we're only going to discuss this for a couple minutes because it is there's not a lot of stuff that has come out of this.
There's not a lot of stuff, not too much to talk about, but it is going to be. We just wanted to talk about it because it will happen next week, and obviously next week we will devote a whole episode on what was announced for DC FanDome. And what
you think a whole episode?
Not a whole episode.
You think it's a whole episode's worth?
We'll see. We'll see, because by the time we record Sundays, so it should, all the announcements should be in.
No, it'll be by the time we record, the 24-hour event would have ended.
Yes, true.
So that's fine. But the only reason I'm questioning it is because of the amount of content that might be revealed. And if you don't know, we discussed this issue 1 or 2?
One, I think.
1.
Yeah, because we were talking about conventions and how their announcements and stuff. Yeah.
DC FanDome.
Finally, guys.
So they recently, I think at the beginning of this week, on Monday, pretty much around the same damn time that they announced the layoff, they pretty much started advertising DC FanDome.
Yeah, they're like, oh, here's some bad news, but here's some good news.
Yeah, it was like weird. They kind of started giving out an outline of how they want to make these announcements.
Yeah.
Before we go on to this, would you want me to just kind of go over the initial outline?
Go for it.
Okay, so DC FanDome will be pretty much premiering on August 22nd, so that's 6 days from now.
Yes.
1 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern time. No, excuse me. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time is pretty much what I meant to say. And it is going to be set up in a convention style. Online convention style. So it's not going to replicate the same pattern that Comic-Con had, where it was just like, oh, panel here, panel there.
Yeah, it was just
Zoom
like
calls.
speckled Zoom calls of just like, oh, that will happen in an hour. And then like, I don't know where to find that. I just go on YouTube and just saw the whole panel.
IGN has it right there.
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is it's going to be a 24-hour event starting at 10 or 1 from August 22nd all the way to August 23rd. And it's going to be split up into several districts, I guess you could say. The artwork for this, which is pretty damn cool, the map, it was created by Jim Lee. He was the one that kind of like did the designs and everything like that. But the way it's going to be split up is into these segments here. You're going to have the Hall of Heroes, which is special programming and panels. It's the epicenter of the convention. Then you have the Watchverse. It's where, according to Entertainment Weekly, this is where I got it, where you can roam storefronts, alleys, rooftops, the districts, and 4 theaters, which are named the Monarch, Athena, Candor, and the McDuffie's Dakota. So it's pretty much where you can have just more panels and premieres. I think that that's pretty much where they're going to have most of these trailers coming out. The Uverse, which is anything and everything that's related to user-generated content. So you have cosplays and arts.
Oh, wow.
I think of it as more of like an artist alley.
Yeah, so that's their little take on Artist Alley. That's actually pretty interesting.
The Insiderverse, which is the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see behind the scenes for theme parks, for the movies, for the comic books, stuff like that. Then you have the Funverse, which is just the Batcave, where you can purchase convention items.
Oh.
So I'm assuming exclusive,
Ooh,
only event stuff.
That's going to be hard to get stuff.
Oh, are you kidding me? There's people that tried buying stuff for the Comic-Con thing and they couldn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
The stupid thing about that, and I've seen some friends who like try to purchase stuff, they would have the items in their cart. You'd think that that'd be locked, but no, once you purchase it, sold out.
It's locked, yeah.
Yeah. No. So then there's the last part, the Kidverse, which is going to be Teen Titans Tower and the DC Superhero Girls Suite Justice Cafe.
So all of this is available on just the DC FanDome website.
Yes, the
One
website
area to go.
exactly.
And see all this stuff.
Nowhere else.
Already better than Comic-Con. So,
Yes.
Well, it's just one area that you can go look at all this stuff.
Yes.
Right?
So I see what you mean. So it's like one dedicated place.
One dedicated place that you can just go, just type it in, and that's it. Because at least it was IGN that was doing the panels.
IGN was the main one, yeah.
but,
the one at least I saw.
But where'd you had to go for all, like you said, all the merch stuff that you could get?
The Comic-Con website, I think.
Yeah. See, they didn't see. That's two different things already.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird, and I kind of like this idea.
I like it too because I like that everything's organized. That it's cut down to like what you truly want to see.
Yes.
And already, I'm going to go to the trailers and stuff like that and all the movie stuff. Like, I'm going to see if there's anything that I can see on there. And then, obviously, they'll have the panels as well, too, all scheduled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, no,
it's good advertisement.
It is.
Because I thought about this, and I'm like, I didn't plan anything for Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. We said it in the last issue when we talked about it. It was just kind of like, oh, well, we didn't even know that it started.
Yeah.
But this is, now we know a confirmed date. I worked that day. But I work till, I think, 6 p.m. So I know that I'm just going to get home, and then I'm just going to go on the website and just start looking up all the info directly from here.
That's the thing. And then so what they should do is that even though, obviously, like, you'll miss a panel, they'll possibly still be available to watch.
On there.
They should be.
I think what's going to end up happening is that it'll be specific to here for 24 hours, and then other outlets like IGN or Entertainment Weekly and stuff like that will probably report it the next day.
Yeah, like all the trailers and all the announcements.
Yeah.
And stuff.
For the time being, I think that these other outlets are only going to report like the top things that they've heard from the panels and stuff like that, which is good.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it is a condensed version of it, and I think that this advertisement and the way that it's being, put out there, it makes it more appealing to people to actually go on the website.
Yeah,
we may be wrong because we said that Comic-Con online was going to be pretty good and successful, and just the advertisement sucked.
The advertisement sucked. That's the thing. The way that they didn't announce anything, they were just kind of like, oh, they did like one little announcement like a couple weeks prior. And I was like, okay, how do I watch the Scott Pilgrim versus the World stuff? And I just watched it on YouTube after it was done.
So you couldn't even, I mean, you probably did you want to?
I wanted to see it live, but I was working at the time, obviously, too. But with this being said, with the DC stuff, I'm actually going to try and go on the website and see how it works.
It's there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You work, you get to go home, and you get to watch all this stuff. They said they're promoting it as 100 plus hours of content, which if you're only up there for 24 hours, so you only get to see a quarter of it.
Right.
That's kind of weird.
Well,
I mean, yeah, sure.
I mean,
still.
Do you really need to see everything?
No.
But it's like at the same time, if it's only 24 hours, I mean, obviously, like I said, all the video stuff will be available on YouTube, so you can watch it for like the next day, the later days to come and stuff like that. Obviously, the trailers will be on YouTube channel or be on Facebook as well too, and stuff like that. All those will be available to watch if you don't watch everything.
So this is good advertisement for them because now we're interested and probably going to devote our time to go on the actual website, which we will because we're going to discuss it in next week's episode and kind of take everything apart.
Yeah, I know that some of the stuff that they did announce was a Suicide Squad game. That's based off of the creators of the Arkham Knight series.
The Suicide. Okay.
There's going to be a Suicide Squad game, and there's already going to be another Batman game,
which
possibly,
is good
which
because
is
the
called,
Arkham Knight series is great.
Yeah. So the next game was going to be called Batman Gotham Knights. So I don't know if that's going to be based off like the Bat family, which would be interesting.
Would be kind of cool to play other people other than
yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, play like Red Hood or Robin or Nightwing, my favorite. I love me some Dick Grayson.
Why'd you say it with that emphasis? It just sounded weird.
No,
all right, Harley Quinn, relax. All right. So those are a couple of video games that were kind of already teased.
Yeah.
According to DC, nothing has been officially announced. So most of this is all speculation. But directors and certain companies have already kind of
Dwayne Johnson on Twitter. I follow all the stuff on Twitter as well too. Matt Reeves has tweeted he is excited to show what he has,
but that is
for
very
Batman.
broad because they've already said here's what they're alluding to, the
Yeah.
rumors. Okay, so they're gonna the rumor is possible reveals of the Suicide Squad, so maybe a trailer or a teaser or something.
And if you guys don't know, that movie is a complete reboot of they're completely canceling the last Suicide Squad movie, and James Gunn will be directing this Suicide Squad
James
movie.
Gunn did
Guardians
Guardians
of the
of the Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Bingo.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for that as well.
The
too.
logo for that looks fantastic.
It looks amazing, and also because Nathan Fillion is involved in the movie as well too. And if you guys don't know,
Every
I love me some
nerd's
Nathan
man
Fillion.
right there. All right, so Suicide Squad, Black Adam,
Black
Aquaman
Adam,
sequel.
Which okay, hold on. Let's kind of. I want to talk about Dwayne Johnson's long commitment to the Black Adam movie.
But here's the thing: there is nothing to discuss because
There's-
when
yeah.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson is committed to something,
Yeah.
he sells the crap out of that thing.
And he's been on the back burner for that movie for so long. Like that was a long announced even right before Justice League came out.
Yeah.
That Dwayne Johnson was going to play Black Adam, and then nothing came out.
Do you remember when that started? That he wasn't even casted for Black
No,
Adam.
and then there was already rumors that it was like, oh yeah, Dwayne Johnson might be Black
And
Adam.
he sold on that rumor. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be Black Adam." When they never even casted him, and he was already picking fights with Zachary Levi.
Oh yeah.
Like that guy is like that guy. Even if the movie sucks, I don't think that there will ever be a big of a commitment to a character than Dwayne the Rock Johnson putting that much effort
Yeah.
into being the Black Adam.
Yes.
Is there? I don't know.
It's been like what 4 years.
Yeah.
Because when did Justice League came out? 2018.
I haven't seen that movie, which we still have to watch.
You
it.
still have to watch. Well, the thing is, we're gonna do where you watch Justice League first and then watch the Snyder Cut, but you should space that out. Like,
Yeah.
not just like one by one. Like basically, you could be saying the same movie over and over again.
Oh my gosh! All right, so there's the Black Adam, the
Yes.
Aquaman sequel, Wonder Woman, 1984.
1984.
Are you sure?
You said 1884.
I said
before we-
1864.
1864.
But I think it's
And
19.
I'm like,
Can you look that up for me, please? I don't want her to sound stupid.
yeah, no,
You
it's
said it.
1984.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's not 1985. I know that. It's 1984.
And then Matt Reeves' Batman. These
Batman.
are all rumors, okay?
Yes.
Even Zack Snyder.
Snack Snyder.
Zack Snyder already alluded that there is a possible teaser for his Justice League cut
I think
in the
so.
Justice League Con from Comic-Con.
That's true, because he was during the Comic-Con, he was showing photos on like social media outlets of like the edit of Steppenwolf, how he looks, same thing how Darkseid looks and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't. I'll be more shocked if he didn't show anything.
There's a trailer because all of this has been filmed.
Yes, and
So-
basically he's using HBO just gave him like a bunch of money to basically make it look more pretty.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you guys are not sold by that, HBO visual effects are amazing, especially when they put money into it.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, those dragons towards the last season looked good.
Because I'm gonna say it. None of these,
Westworld too.
my love.
Westworld looked amazing.
None of these DC movies have actually looked good, in my opinion.
Yes. So I'm super excited
And
to see.
I'm gonna get burned at the stake again for saying that.
I mean, Steppenwolf and Justice League looked pretty bad.
We'll see. Hang on. We'll see. So these are the possible.
And that mustache trying to blur it out. You've seen those.
Henry Cavill.
It's weird. It's like
It's like he's got no lip.
he's got no moving upper lip. That's what made it really bad.
Oh no.
You
Okay,
know?
so these are the possible rumors that might be coming out from the event.
Yes.
Okay, to wrap it up,
Yeah.
because we're already over the hour
5
mark.
minutes over an hour. Yeah.
What are your expectations? Give me your top 2 expectations from this. Your predictions that might come out.
My predictions.
Actually, let's do this. Top 2 predictions of
Top
what
2.
you want. No, top 2 predictions, and then what you want to see the most of.
Okay. I predict that there will be a teaser for the Suicide Squad movie, not
Okay.
a trailer, because I think it's too early to put out a trailer right now.
Okay.
I think there will be either a clip or a teaser that they will show for the Suicide Squad movie.
Okay.
Second one, I think that we will maybe get a reveal of the villain for the Batman movie.
Okay.
Not footage. I think we'll get a reveal. Maybe
Okay.
maybe even a clip or like the actor playing, or like how like Joker when they showed like the test footage for maybe something like that, like the test footage of whoever playing the villain.
Okay.
But what I want is a Batman teaser.
What you want is the Batman teaser.
I want a Batman teaser.
Okay.
Not even a trailer. I just want a little teaser trailer. That's it. Just give me something with Robert Pattinson in the suit acting like Batman.
Okay.
That's what I want.
All right.
Yours.
So, I'm probably going to assume that most of these that have been announced, including Suicide Squad and Black Adam, are going to be teasers.
Yeah. No, there's not. I'm fully confident that there won't be a trailer.
No. It's too early to call, specifically because I just think that James Gunn barely started working on this movie at the beginning of the year.
He hasn't. I'm not too sure if he wrapped filming. I know that he was filming before and then a little bit during.
So these are going to be costume reveals, how characters look. I was going to say Killer Croc because I'm actually excited to see him again. I love Killer Croc.
I want to see how James Gunn's going to do Killer Croc.
Oh my God. Killer Croc has always been one of my favorite villains just because of the way he looks.
I was so disappointed of how he looked.
Or how
they traded him in Suicide Squad.
He looked like the Goomba from Super Mario Brothers, the live action.
That's where it looks like.
Yeah.
I was like, for the longest time, especially when they revealed that photo of the whole cast in costume, I was like, it looks like they just basically like put glue on his face and threw scales on his face.
And that was it. Yeah.
It's like, looks beautiful. Put him in there.
So most of these are going to be reveals.
Yeah. Well, there is a section for trailers and videos, right?
Yes, that's in the watch first.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want this more or if I'm predicting it.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, okay. I think I wanted more.
You said one thing, right?
Okay. I know where I'm going to put this.
Okay.
I know where I want this to. Okay. So my other prediction is we're going to probably get some sort of announcement from the Ezra Miller Flash movie.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't announced anything.
They haven't announced it, but I think that because of these, they just hired Michael Keaton for that movie.
I completely forgot about that.
Aha!
Oh my God.
That is why, because
That's
knew.
So true.
Which is leading into my other prediction, or not my prediction.
No, this is what you want. Yes.
I want. But let me finish off the prediction. I think that they might. There's nothing is going to be revealed from the Flash movie. They're simply going to talk about it. If anything, pray whatever comic book gods are out there, we're going to see a Flash costume reveal. And it's probably going to be some sort of like, the behind the studios kind of thing of what we might be doing.
I would love to see that.
I am going to drool.
Because
I will drool.
The costume in Justice League wasn't great.
No. And I think, if I will cry. If you hear me crying in the next week's podcast, you know what happened. It's so okay. Now what I want, I'm going to go ballsy on this one. Ballsy.
Go for it, Brian.
The Batman movie will be a Batman Beyond
reveal.
I am still on this.
I
still want it. Don't freaking take it away from me.
So next week you'll cry. Either it happens or it doesn't.
I'll scream from across the comic book store. I'll be like, yes.
Yeah.
I want this. I don't know. Something in my gut is telling me that Matt Reeves is working on a somewhat Batman Beyond related movie. That is my prediction. I think that it's not a full-on Batman Beyond, but I think it is going to be a reveal. There is going to be some sort of Batman Beyond reveal, revelation, whatever you want to call it, coming from this event. I have a feeling.
You have the biggest hope in this event right now.
It's because it needs to happen.
It does.
It needs to happen. I'm probably gonna get chewed out for saying this, but it might happen. This might be the Batman Beyond movie we've all wanted. Again, you forgot Michael Keaton was in the Flash movie.
I completely forgot, and we did an episode on that as well, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that this is a possible Batman Beyond movie. I don't think it's going to be a full-on Batman Beyond, but they're going to probably allude to it and then announce that for the Flash movie. Because Michael Keaton will probably play old Batman.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
And I don't care if Rebel gets mad at me and says, no, it has to be, what's his name?
What?
Kevin Conroy. Because Kevin Conroy played old Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse. And yeah, I get it. He was really good, and he is the definite voice of Batman. His voice is
Super
godly
skinny.
when it comes to Batman.
Super skinny, too. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
He's
But again,
really skinny.
again, his voice is one of a kind, perfection. He is my Batman.
No, he is my Batman too.
He
but
is-
I'm being like, I don't see him doing another, live action thing.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I don't. Yeah, it's more likely that Michael Keaton will be an older Batman.
Yes.
It's more likely.
So I have a feeling.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
I agree.
we good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
Also,
we'll see.
So I don't know. You guys comment down below or let us know what you want to see.
Yeah.
From this DC fandom, or if you agree with any of us, let us know. Or think that Brian's crazy and reaching too
I'm not
far.
crazy.
And reaching too far, or has his hopes way too high.
I
Let
love
us know
Batman
as well,
Beyond.
too.
I love Batman Beyond.
I know. I gotta get those on Blu-ray.
Batman Beyond was like my cartoon as a kid. That was like, oh my God, Terry McGinnis as Batman.
that
and
opening
old
song
Bruce.
too.
Oh, the opening song was fantastic. But like, oh my God, old Bruce Wayne was just a fantastic character, especially in the beginning, the pilot for that series when he gets shot. When he doesn't he shoot someone?
No, yeah, because the suit was putting too much strain on him.
Yes.
And he basically had to resort to using a gun.
And he was like, never again.
Yeah,
and he's,
that's
oh
why
my
he
God,
was
that
like,
is.
he was never wear the bat
It is
suit
the
again.
best thing to. Just give me a Batman Beyond movie already. Give me Batman
I
Beyond
feel
with
watching Batman Beyond
Michael
now.
Keaton on there. That's all I want. Okay, for next week's podcast, we are definitely going to talk about the DC fandom.
DC fandom. Oh, and also sorry if there was no Nolan's Corner this week. We both were busy this week. We didn't get a chance to watch The Prestige. So we'll try to make that up next week. We'll see how that fits with our schedule as well, too, with everything that's being announced. We might just do that. I don't know. We might just do a video on it. You want to do a video on it?
For the Nolan Corner?
For the Nolan Corner?
Depends on how much information comes out from this DC fandom stuff.
Yeah, so if you
So it
don't...
might be a video, it might not. It'd be interesting, but I definitely do think because of the DC fandom thing, we definitely probably need to talk about Batman because I kind of have a feeling that Batman will be a key point.
I think, that's going to be like possibly the biggest announcement. If they show anything or reveal anything, that will possibly be the biggest thing to talk about.
It might be a Batman episode, a Batman-centric episode.
Yeah, not just DC, but just Batman in
Just
general.
Batman in general. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, so a couple closing thoughts before I close this out.
I just hope that you don't get too upset on what comes out next week.
Don't even. All right, so we ready to wrap this up?
I'm ready to go.
All right,
Yeah,
so
you're
before
good
I
to
do the whole wrapping up thing, if you guys are listening to this on YouTube, please jump on over to our Podbean and Spotify and hit that follow button on there. Our podcasts are posted up on those websites as well every Wednesday at 11:30. Same thing with YouTube. If you're listening to this on Podbean or Spotify, click on the description, the link on there for the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe on that button. We're at 20 subscribers. We gained 5 in about a week and a half, which is really great. We're getting good traction on that. Please, please, please hit subscribe. Help support us any way you guys can. Follow our socials and stuff. We will continue this every week until, whenever. We want to continue this as much as possible, and we love what we do here.
Yeah.
We've already mentioned that this is something that we get really excited for every week. So, yeah, just follow us on every platform there. Stay tuned for more videos as well. We're going to be working on that stuff as well. So, yeah. It just depends on how much time I have for the editing.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian does a lot, guys. If you guys don't know, Brian does a lot on here. He edits all these episodes, which I thank you so much to do.
No, I enjoy doing it. It
On
brings
top of
me
your work
pleasure.
schedule, on top of that, you are a god to stay focused and then just to do. And if you guys love the videos and love how they're edited, it's all thanks to Brian.
I try.
He did a great job with
Don't
the
make me
Hamilton
cry.
one. He did
Don't make me
an
cry.
amazing job on the Fallout one. He knows what I like and stuff. So
We discussed this. It's a
Yeah.
collab. So
It's a collab, yeah.
it's, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Rene as well. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you
no
for
problem.
all this. And thank you, listeners, for everything as well. If you guys are interested in talking to us, follow us on our socials. We're active there. Leave comments down below. With that said, are we ready?
Go for it.
Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. This is Brian,
Renee.
coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, recording at Undercity Comics. We thank you, citizens, once again, and hope to see you all next time.